I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Pistons Talk podcast presented by FanDuel. I'm joined by a very special guest, Mario from Bleav in Bulls. I think the last time we talked, the Bulls were the number one seed and they were 5-0.
Then hell froze over, literally in this city. I mean, my God, man, that feels like a lifetime ago.
I know. I had to look back. I was watching our podcast earlier today. I was like, wow, the Bulls were the number one seed. And I think people were starting to buy the hype.
I was buying into it. I mean, there's a little bit of hope in me where I was like, this can be an exciting season. You know, we're going to be dangerous in the East. And then we kind of passed that mantle on to you guys, and you guys took and ran with it. And then we're just going to, all right, we're going to go back to what we usually do, try to make the play-in and then suck.
It's kind of funny. I know this. You've probably seen this graphic. It's like the Hawks, the Heat, and the Bulls have been in the play-in for like the past 4 seasons. Like someone had shared that graphic. I was like, that's wild to kind of think about. But I mean, we're gonna get into like a lot of NBA trade deadline. Obviously, there was a 3-team trade between the Pistons, the Timberwolves, and the Chicago Bulls. So we're gonna start the podcast off with that trade, the 3-team trade. So Jaden Ivey does get dealt to the Bulls. So what were your overall thoughts with the Bulls acquiring, a top 5 lottery pick in Jaden Ivey?
Yeah, I think it was another move of we wanted to get a guy with potential. I think that's what Ivy is potential. And with the Pistons, where they're at, with the way the East is right now, they're going for it, right? And Ivy's coming off an injury, kind of got buried in the back of the lineup a little bit in Detroit. I think with Chicago, he gets a little bit of a fresh start. We have a decision to re-sign him at the end of this year. We get to see what Jaden Ivey is in this league. We get to see if that athleticism can come back, if that he can possibly be, because I think his ceiling is a second best player on a contending team. I don't know if he could be the best player on a contending team, but a second best, I think he can. If he reaches that level, that's fantastic for Chicago. And look, the assets he kind of gave away. Dario was a Bull for 22 hours. You know, him and Kamalo Anthony were same time span with Chicago. I think Kevin Huerter is a solid shooter and he's a better defender than Duncan Robinson. That can help you guys out. So it wasn't like you lost a lot of assets going out. I think you're just wondering how good can he be on this team. The part I feel bad about with Jaden is he's joining a roster where, if you thought Detroit was guard heavy, welcome to the Windy City, baby.
Yeah.
So I think that's my worry a little bit there. I was curious on your end, was Detroit sad to lose him?
I think when you kind of add context to the situation, like Jaden Ivey has a lot of Detroit roots. His grandfather played for the Detroit Lions. His mom, who's a women's basketball coach at Notre Dame, she played for the Detroit Shock when we had a WNBA team. We're actually getting one back, which I'm really pumped for that. His dad played at Detroit Country Day. He has a very athletic family. Like he's got brothers that have played in the NFL. I think Detroit was kind of like, it wouldn't surprise me if he got dealt, but also like the more you read about it, like they were taking calls on him. I wasn't surprised, just kind of given like the down year that he was having. Obviously, getting his left leg snapped by Cole Anthony. He broke his fibula. And then to start the year, he had to have arthroscopic cleanup surgery. And then he's just hasn't really been the same. The burst isn't there. The speed isn't there. Really relying on his jump shot. I would say the fan base, a majority of the fan base, was very upset with the Detroit ties that he has. He was one of the, the very few draft picks that we had during the rebuild. He was drafted in 22 with Jalen Duren. Me personally, I'm wishing him well. I honestly think like this year he hasn't been 100% healthy. It wouldn't surprise me if you guys were to re-sign him in restricted free agency and he kind of gets back to the form of last season where he was averaging 17 points a game, shooting 40% from 3 on pretty good volume, just being a blur out there in transition. He's a good player. I just think watching him this year, you could tell that knee was bothering him quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing with him right now is can he be healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he's healthy and that burst comes back and the boom and the flash is there, then this is exciting for Chicago. Then you look back at this move 5 years later and go, wow, what a decision by this front office. If it And Chicago's knee history will tell you this doesn't go our way. But yeah. So if he comes in and he's never really able to kind of be the same Jaden that we've seen, then we look back at this and go, well, we gave up Herter and Dario for free. And then Detroit looks like a genius going, we got off a guy that hit his kind of peak and was never able to kind of get over this rookie hump, if you will, and never was able to become the player he wanted to be. So it's truly like who's going to be the genius in 3 years? It's Detroit or Chicago. I'd say it's going to edge towards you guys.
You know what? A lot of Pistons fans, we have PTSD here. They're like, if he turns into a star, swear I will be so mad. They just have so much PTSD from previous regimes. Like I think the most famous one that you could look back in history is we found a Chris Middleton very late, who actually got traded today for Anthony Davis, ironically. In the second round, showed some promise, and then we trade him for Brandon Jennings. And Brandon Jennings tore his Achilles, and then Chris Middleton won an NBA championship. Same thing with Spencer Dinwiddie to an extent. Like we draft him, and it was actually a trade with the Bulls. I think it was like Nucioni or something like that. And then like we just never played the guy. We waived him. So I mean, Pistons fans have some PTSD on obviously trades and guys blossoming other places. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if Jaden Ivey gets back to form and he kind of looks like what he did last season, where he was starting to put it all together. Like even if you go back and watch, like even during that Magic game, like he was just a nightmare. He was putting the ball on the floor. Defenses had a really hard time of staying in front of him. I think the one thing, if I'm a Bulls fan, he's better off ball than he is on ball. Like he did a lot of that at Purdue, which you guys have Josh Giddey. Like if you could have a backcourt of Josh Giddey and Jaden Ivey where, he's just coming off ball and Josh Giddey's swinging him the ball, coming off screens, curling off screens or backdoor cuts, I think it could honestly work and be a lot of fun. But I wanted to ask you about Kevin Huerter because a lot of Pistons fans are wondering. Obviously, he's a career 37% three-point shooter, shooting 31% from three. Should Pistons fans be worried that, like, I know Shams Karate in his tweet said Pistons are getting a sharpshooter, and people like jokingly said, where? Because he's only shooting 31%. Should they be worried?
There's a little bit of worry. I don't think they're wrong for thinking that. He's very streaky. There's moments where you see him in a game and he comes off the bench, hits 3 threes in a row, and you're just going, wow, we needed that off the bench. Or we take a lead, the other team calls timeout. There's other moments in this game where you're going, there could be no one on the floor and he'd still miss that shot. He just can't hit anything. So it does come in waves. It does have moments of, hey, this guy is a sharpshooter, and other moments of, is he even aiming towards the basket? I mean, what the hell is going on here? The part that I will give Herta, though, is every time I'm taking notes on watching a game, every single time he comes off the bench, and the Bulls bench unit's been great, but every single moment he kind of comes into the game, lead changes, lead shortens, or the Bulls take the lead. Like, he's a constant energy guy, and what he brings to the lineups with Chicago was huge. I think he can do the same with Detroit. He's a solid defender. He's not fantastic. I wouldn't say, he's going to lock up anyone. If Brunson switches on, or if he's guarding Brunson, it's not going to be like, Brunson went 0 for 8 against him. Like, that's not going to happen. But he's going to be able to hold the fort down. He'll probably be able to make a nice play, and he's a smart ball player. So that's what you're going to get. And I think that's the bright side of Herter. The streakiness you're going to have to sort of live with. I do think as the season goes on and as you get closer to playoffs and more intense moments, he does tend to shine. He does tend to play better, especially I've noticed this year in fourth quarter, in moments when we had guys out and he's playing closing minutes. He knows where to go. He doesn't make a mistake, and he hits shots.
Well, that is good to hear. I know a lot of Pistons fans, like, as soon as they saw the tweet and they look up his 3-point percentage. I mean, you have to go back to his Atlanta days with Trae Young, where he was shooting anywhere from 37 to 40% from three. But I also think, like, once he did tear his labrum, maybe there was a little bit of just soreness in that shooting shoulder. Maybe that took some time to get readjusted, but I've always liked him from afar. I know, like when we did our first collab podcast, I had mentioned him because I was like, man, we need some shooters because like we can't be going 6 for 32 in a game. And if Duncan Robinson
Yeah.
isn't on, man, it's just like, good Lord. Like we've had so many games where we're shooting like 18, 20% from three, but I was pretty happy with the acquisition.
I will say this too with Herter. I think with Chicago as a whole, with his 3-point percentage being down, he has been forced to shoot a lot of contested threes. Like it's
Mhm.
not spot up, he's open, boom, he knocks it down. He's being forced where he's coming off the screen, guys in his face, and he's passing the ball. Just no one else can shoot the freaking ball on the floor, so he has to pop it up. Like he's forcing those moments where you're
Mhm.
like, was it the best shot and he missed it? But that's the best look they're gonna get. Ayo Sumo's on the floor. That's the next best ball handler, and Javon Carter's on the lineup. Sometimes just sucked for him, and he got forced in situations where he has to take these tough looks. So that's another thing I would point to. Maybe his low shooting, and I think in Detroit when you have to really help off Cade, that he'll be able to get more chances to knock shots down.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think sometimes when you look at box scores or you just look at team stats, like, yeah, 31% probably doesn't tell the whole story. Like, if you're passing him the ball with like 5 seconds and then make something out of it, like, they're probably going to be low percentage shots, which I can
Yeah.
100% understand. But really happy with the addition of Herter because we did need another 3-point shooter. Like, I was asking every post game podcast, I was like, can we just get a shooter, please? I need a shooter. Like,
Yeah.
please. I'll be paying attention to Jaden Ivey, especially. I know how your front office is with restricted free agency. Hopefully, Jaden Ivey doesn't have to go through the same situation as Josh Giddey did, but praying
You
for his
hope.
agents over at CAA, man, because like I don't really know what his market is. You guys might just say, hey, like take the restricted deal, take the 13 million, and we'll figure it out later.
I, time will tell, obviously, with how he finished out the season. And let's say he balls out, then that money's going to change. What I think this front office will do, will try to keep it as cheap as possible, right? With
Yeah.
Giddey, they tried to, and they did. I think Giddey's contract is very friendly towards the team. I think Ivy will probably do the same because they're also thinking with his injury history, hey, if he gets hurt, how can we move off it, right? Because right now they
Yeah.
have a contract in Patrick Williams that's burning a hole in their pocket. They're paying that guy 90
Oh, yeah.
million. So, and you can't get off that. Like no teams.
No.
Yeah. So I think that's lingering in their head as well. It's like, what's a contract that if we got to move off him because he gets hurt, we can move off it.
Yeah, I hope maybe you guys can get like a maybe under $20 million deal for him where it's just not like outrageous, maybe like closer to a mid-level exception like for him. But um I have a very good feeling he's going to bounce back and we get to see him 4 times a year. And I feel like all those games should probably be nationally televised as there'll definitely be some dramatics and some emotions playing the team that drafted him in for sure.
Oh, yeah. I hope he brings you that Detroit attitude to Chicago too. I
The
hope so.
The one thing I will say that I didn't touch on, you have to lock the gym. This guy's a workhorse. Like
Beautiful.
our general manager literally had to lock the gym when he was going through his rehab because he was trying to come back during the playoffs. They never really ruled him out, and like he was just putting in so much work to the point where they're like, dude, like you gotta go. Like it's past midnight. Like come back tomorrow. I would never like question his work ethic. He's probably one of the hardest working players that I've covered and just like witnessed.
No, I love to hear that. And I'm from Indiana originally, so a lot of Purdue fans texting me today getting pretty excited for it up in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He's a really good kid. Comes from a good family. I think the Bulls fans in general will be really happy with him if he does bounce back and looks like his old self. But you guys have been very active at the deadline, and I kind of wanted to get into um, the other trade that I saw during the week, and it was a trade sending Nikola Vucevic and a second round pick to the Boston Celtics for Anthony Simons. So what was kind of like your thought process? Obviously, I heard reports last year like, hey, it's going to take 2 firsts for Vooch. And then they kind of just salary dump him to Boston, helping Boston get off of that Anthony Simons expiring and a second round pick.
This was a trade that happened about 3 years too late. I think it's a
Mhm.
very obvious one. I mean, waited their sweet ass time to get rid of Vooch. You're getting nothing back. Anthony's going to be gone at the end of this year. There's no way he's back in Chicago. 0.0% chance. I like actually the player a lot. I think he was great for Boston. I was a little surprised that Boston moved off of him. What I said on my reaction pod was, I feel like they called the Celtics and go, what's the best player you're willing to put on the trade? And they said Simons, and he was like, all right, like, we'll take it. You know, that's the way they kind of, I felt like they did it. But just a move that was made too late, and good for Vooch. I'm cheering for him in Boston. I hope he gets a chance to get a ring. But Anthony's going to come into this lineup where, you know, he's going from this offense in Boston, which kind of is a little similar to Chicago in terms of pace and the volume of shooting they like to do. But you go from, hey, yeah, I'll pass it up to Brown to, yeah, I'm going to pass. Wait, Giddey? I'm going to pass up to Giddey. Like, you know what I mean? Where, like, I just don't know how that's going to work so well. You basically just let Vooch go for free. Is how I see it. Because there's just no way. If Simons, Ivey, and IL are all back in Chicago uniforms next year, I'll be shocked. Shocked. Like, that's just not going to happen, man. So I don't like it.
I was really surprised because I honestly felt like last year he was playing out of his mind. I was like, maybe Chicago can get a first for him.
Yeah.
And then you saw reports that like the asking price was still the same, like, you know, maybe a first or two for him. Obviously, he's not playing the same as he was last year, but he's still having a really good season statistically. I kind of felt it was just like a last minute thing where they're like, let's try to get off Vooch because maybe we can try to pull off a bigger trade and a player that we talked, you know, a little bit before, which we'll probably get into. But it kind of just felt like a salary dump. And then like you're getting off of expiring money with Anthony Simons, who's on a really big cap hold. I was looking at the $41 million cap hold for you guys, but you'll have a lot of cap space in a free agency class where it's kind of like, okay, like what are we going to do here? So I feel like this move is kind of gearing up towards maybe a possible bigger move for you guys. I know there's still one more day until the trading deadline on February 5th, but I was very surprised that you were able to just like kind of offload on that contract and not get at least something marginal to upgrade the roster.
That's my issue too, is I'm fine with tanking. I'm all for it. But tanking makes sense, right? The Grizzlies right now are doing the tank. And they took what, Bane and Jackson. They haven't even traded Ja yet. And they've already gotten back 7 first-round picks.
Yep.
The Bulls have traded now Levine, DeMar, Vooch, and White. What they've got, Lonzo too, and Caruso. What they've gotten back is just a first-round pick that they've owned, and that's it. The rest of these guys that they're getting are just dump guys. And so you go in, look, you're trying to win and you suck, and you're trying to lose and you suck. Like, be good at one of them. And that's my problem with this whole thing. And two, with getting, you know, Anthony too in this situation, we talked about it. You know, Ivey's going into a packed guard room. Vooch is was our only big. Zach Collins is hurt right now. Jalen Smith is just coming off an injury. He's like day to day. Bo Zealous has said it in press conferences. You see it on the floor. He thrives playing the 3. He thrives in 2 big lineups. So we hear that, and it's like the front office goes, all right, we heard that, but who gives a crap, right? We're trying to develop him. Who cares? Let's put more guards around him. And that's my big frustration is, look, I get if you're trying to get rid of guys and all in all, and you're trying to suck, but like suck and make it make sense and get a forward, get a big, get a rim protector or something, Anthony. And that's just what they're not doing right now. And that's the other frustration I have with this organization.
Yeah, I mean, even like the Kobe White trade today, like he's one of your better guards, like almost averaging 20 points a game. He's on an expiring deal. And like you see the trade that it was like the Bulls are trading Kobe White for Mike Conley to Charlotte for Colin Sexton, Dang, who got rerouted, in 3 second-round picks. Like, and the second-round picks weren't even that favorable either. I'm like,
No.
that's the best you could do? Like 3 seconds for Kobe White, who's a bucket getter, who I think could have easily gotten a first-round pick, even if it was a late first-round pick. I was very surprised to see him go for that cheap.
And my first thought was, do we even have a bidding war? Like we hear going on this deadline, Minnesota's desperate for a guard. Houston's desperate for a guard. White's in this mix. They're in this mix. Io's in this mix. And suddenly Charlotte is coming around the corner with Colin Sexton, who, if we're being completely honest, just a poor man's Kobe White. And that's what we're getting back in this. Make it make sense to me. That's beyond frustrating. And like you said, I thought we could get a first. I thought we could get something. I was even fine with getting Rob Dillingham. That was a big thing that was talked about a lot. Instead, you get a guy that's just been a journeyman, and you have the same conversation. Well, if he figures it out, he's going to be really good. Well, if he didn't figure it out in Utah, didn't figure it out in Cleveland, didn't figure it out in Charlotte, I don't think he's going to figure it out in Chicago, folks. So, again,
it's another guard. Like, I don't understand it. I feel like there is a bigger move. But before we kind of get into our next segment, I wanted to talk to you about just like winning lines over on FanDuel right now. So I was curious to see what the winning lines were for respective both of the Pistons and the Bulls. So as of right now, after the moves, Vegas is projecting them at 34.5. Are you buying that?
Oh, I'm going way under. Way
yeah,
under.
me too. Yeah, me too.
How the hell are we going to defend the paint? I mean, we're already 26, I think, in points allowed in the paint. Who the hell's standing there as someone's coming in?
Yeah, I mean, the Pistons are 57.5. I took the over when it was 44.5 in August. So I might get that sooner than later, but I was really curious to see what our win total odds were. It seems like the Bulls win 39 games every year, but I do think that there is a move that they're probably going to make at this deadline very soon. Because there's no way that you can just roll out like 15 guards and say like, yeah, that's our trading deadline. There's no way. There's no
way, right? Like I keep thinking, I was looking at guys and I was like, there's got to be another something in there that they can get because this lineup just doesn't make sense. The part that sucks too, Anthony, the most is they do want to tank. They do want to suck. Obviously, it looks like it right now with their lineup. But Billy Donovan is just allergic to doing that. Like, he's too good of a coach. So that's why we always get that 39 of those 40 wins, because, like, that guy coaches his ass off. And you sit there and you go, dude, you poor guy. Go to a different team. Leave the organization,
Didn't he just get an extension too?
He did. That's why when he signed it, I was like, I want to, like, call his mom and be like, you got to tell Billy to get the hell out of here. Like, he's too good for us. We're screwing him over.
He's not gonna just go out there and just wave the white flag. Like
no.
He's not one of those coaches where it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna throw a death lineup out there and then we'll just tank and lose this game. Like he's not like a Will Hardy where like they'll try in the first quarter and then like all of a sudden Lauri Markkanen's sick and he's in the back and you're like, oh, what's happening? Like, why is he sick? and it's throw out like a bunch of two ways and G League guys and like 15th man on the bench. And you're like, oh, okay, that's why they lost tonight. But
yeah. Oh, this guy hasn't played in the NBA in 4 years and he's starting tonight? Oh, that's why.
I mean, that was the Pistons. I remember during the Monty year, because our next segment is I want to ask you if you think the Bulls are going to rebuild. But I remember during the Monty year, the Pistons had 30 guys active on their roster. So we signed 30 guys. And it was just like, bro, there's no way there were 30 guys on this roster from a calendar year. Like, that's insane to me. That is insane to me. I was like, wow, man, like it can't get any worse. But I just want to ask you, like, do you think that the Chicago Bulls should look to rebuild? I mean, where they're at, I feel like they do have some, pieces in Josh Giddey. I really like Matas Bizelis, but I mean, guys are currently sitting right now at 13, or like right the 13th pick if the season ended today. I mean, like, this is a really good draft. I mean, maybe you could have some lottery luck. Maybe you could kind of sneak up into the top 5. Do you think that they should try to look to do that?
If there's a draft to do it, it's this one. If there's a time to do it, it's got to be now. And look, they're the third hardest remaining schedule in the league. They're 10th in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference, I should say right now. The Hornets are chomping at the bits. They're a game back. The Hornets will jump them. They got better at the trade deadline. They have something special cooking right now, playing great basketball. I like Bozellus a lot. He's still a good year and a half away from being a really good shot creator. I like Giddey. Still need to work on the defensive side of the floor. Noah Essingay, that they kind of count as like this third cornerstone in their rebuild of this next era of Bulls basketball. He's 2 years away from being a rotational player. He's out this whole year, so not gonna be able to play. He needs reps. I think he'll be in a starting lineup in 3 years if everything goes great. They have to go towards the tank. They have to tear this puppy down. It hasn't worked. They've sucked. They said it before the year, be patient. This tank that they're trying to do has been terrible. Just look at the way the Grizzlies are doing it, like I mentioned, with the 7 first-round picks already. Now look at the way the Bulls are doing it. It's tragic. But they have to get their chances of winning the lottery. They have to get those chances up. And that means losing upon losing upon losing. So I want them to go that direction. I would love to be in the market for Caleb Wilson. I almost said Caleb Williams. Caleb Wilson of UNC. I'd love to be in the market for Peterson out of Kansas. I love AJ out of BYU. Boozer, I'm a UNC fan, but I'm not the biggest on Boozer. I think Boozer out of the 3, I would,
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's hard as a UNC fan to root for a Dookie.
It's very hard. And I'm just going to say this. Good ball player. I just don't know how it's all going to go in the NBA. You want to be big dog. You want to really bowl through those guys in the NBA. See how that works for you, Boozer. But no, they have to suck. They have to tank. The time is now.
Yeah, I've always felt like they reminded me a lot of the Pistons, like when we had like Andre Drummond and Reggie Jackson. We're competing for 8 seeds, and then we're getting the 8th pick every year, and then like we're just so up against the cap where we can't make any moves. No future first round draft picks for other teams. No cap flexibility, and it's just like, oh, let's see what we can do this year. And then, like, this year comes, and it's like another first round exit. I think you guys should try to maybe just do like a soft rebuild, try to see like what you guys can do. But man, it's just really tough to compete, and then try to sell the fans like, hey, we're gonna go through a rebuild. And you look at Chicago, like they're still top 5 and like ticket sales like every year.
Yeah.
I don't know how you sell that to the city. Maybe do like a 2-3 year rebuild and say like, give us 2-3 years and we'll be back on the mountaintop. But like, you just read these reports today and it's just like, yeah, the Bulls are still calling New Orleans to see like what it could take to possibly get a Zion Williamson. And like, I know we talked before, you're like, I would hate that. And I'm with you. I wouldn't like that either for the Bulls. So it would be such a Bulls move to do. It's just like, make all these trades, throw all those 3 guards and maybe a couple first round picks for a Zion Williamson, who hasn't really been the most available throughout his career.
I think this is my big brain conspiracy theory, but stay with me. I think the Zion interest a lot too is Reinsdorf looking around the city of Chicago and going, all right, Bears have Caleb, Cubs have PCA, Blackhawks have Bedard. And you see they do photo ops with those people. PCA and Caleb are good friends. And he's kind of thinking, crap, what the hell do I have with the Bulls right now? What's my star? Bozellus? It's not. I mean, he's a homegrown kid, but like, he ain't going to be on any posters around here. I think that's where the star hunting kind of worries them. And he's like, Zion put asses in seats. Zion could sell. Zion can be in that photo in the Bulls jersey with those guys. I think they do worry about that. And that's something that, they see the competition right now and they see how much the city kind of gets behind a team and they go, we're kind of the odd man out. And I think there's a little bit of jealousy there and a little bit of how can we kind of get this process to be fast. And I point towards what Detroit did, where you go, you were the laughing stock. 2 years later, you're first in the East. And now the Knicks are going, can we beat Detroit in a series? And now New York's chasing you in a way. In my opinion, I think they are. But that it can be done quickly, but you just got to get it freaking right.
It's all about changing the culture. Like them bringing in JB Bickerstaff completely changed our culture. Like just the way that the guys come in, how the professional, like adding Tobias Harris also was a really big key to their turnaround. But like I think from Chicago's standpoint, like, I know we're talking about the Bulls, but like what the Bears just did was insane. Like you guys,
Yeah.
get Ben Johnson from the Lions. He comes in, he brings that culture that he learned from Detroit and Miami and other stops. And I feel like he completely kind of changed the culture for the Chicago Bears, and they leaped the Lions this year. They were the best team in the NFC North, and I think that's what the Bulls are trying to do. They're trying to kind of find like a guy that they can build around. I don't really know if Zion's the guy that I would try to build
Oh yeah.
around, but if I want to be positive to Bulls fans, and this is a silver lining, if you look at players that leave New Orleans, they instantly get healthy and they kind of just like, hey, I'm playing my best ball. Brandon Ingram, he hasn't really had any ankle injury since he left New Orleans. Dyson
True.
Daniels been healthy. You just look at all the players that have left that organization. That organization, respectively, is a dumpster fire. Like, um, they don't want to make any moves. They feel like their core is good enough to win a championship. That's the quote I read today.
Yep.
And they might hold on to James Borrego as a head coach. Like it's just purgatory down there with Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver. But I think for the Bulls, I don't really think they have to go through a drastic rebuild because I think Bazelis and Giddey are good pieces. I just think you guys need a big man and a power forward, but like you guys could definitely get some lottery luck. I really like that, like if you guys got AJ DeBanza, like
Oh
that's something you could sell to the fans. Like
yeah.
that's a franchise front court player that could be on posters. You mentioned like doing like the jersey things, like 100% AJ DeBanza could be a player for you. That's why I'm thinking like you're 13 right now. Like, could the Bulls have some lottery luck? I know last year when they did like the pre-lottery, like the Bulls won it before like they kind of like did little ping pong balls. Like Cooper Flag would have been amazing in a Bulls uniform, but
Oh my
um,
God.
I know.
Yes. Okay, so maybe flip side, maybe we're just due. We need the Chicago, you need the big city market. Maybe we're just due.
I think so. I mean, when's the last first round pick? Like D Rose?
D Rose. And it was a
Yeah.
1% chance to get Rose.
I mean, I feel like the NBA has to do some justice. Um, I see what Dallas is doing because they traded Anthony Davis. They have their first round pick this year. They're probably looking to get another top pick in this draft.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me if they just start tanking. Like they put Cooper back at point guard. Wonder why they did that. Wonder why.
Yeah.
They're trying to lose, man. They're
What did
trying
that
to
do?
get back. They're
Yeah.
trying to get back into like the top 5 or the lottery odds. I mean, you see like Sacramento, they're just throwing up death lineups right now. Like they're trying to get a first overall pick. They'll probably slip to 5 because having the worst record doesn't correlate to getting the number 1 pick. But I think Chicago's due personally.
They have to be. I mean, come on now. On the Kings part, I kept reading today that they wanted it in on Ja. Like they're doing everything they can. And to me, that is, I mean, Ja, if you really want your career to die, and he knows it. I mean, I think someone reported back to like he has no interest in going to Sacramento. Like that's where a career goes to die, is Sacramento.
It's funny, like the Kings were like, we're just gonna have Chicago Bulls West out here. Like, let's go get Zach LaVine, let's go get DeMar DeRozan. Like, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. What, that didn't work in the East?
No,
Yeah, it's gonna
no,
work in the West.
no. Honestly, it's kind of crazy. I don't even know what they're doing. Like, I watched DeAndre Hunter's press conference today. The guy is like, man, I can't believe I'm in freaking Sacramento right now. Like his body language is so bad. I was like, oh wow, he's
Terrible.
pissed. He's pissed. Can't really blame him. I have one more question for you, and we can wrap this up. So I know we're still in the trading deadline. For you, most surprising trade so far?
Oh, it's easy for me because I hate this trade more than anything in this world. Garland for James Harden, straight up. I hate it. I
don't
understand, right? Like I understand Garland's really unhealthy, hard to lean on him. But in what world is James Harden the guy you can lean on that can show up for you in playoff spots and's old now and it's gonna play deep? Like what? Like it doesn't make any sense why you think that's a guy you can count on. The Rockets can tell you can't. The Sixers can tell you can't. Brooklyn can tell you can't. Everywhere he goes, he falls short. And then Cleveland, you're in a very tough spot, and you go, let's flip Garland for Harden. That's going to work out. Are you kidding me? Like, what? Take a drug test. What drugs are you on right now? Let me have some. I want to see what my brain's gonna go to. If you guys think that's a good idea.
I know my buddy Sean's like, I want whatever paint that Cleveland's huffing right now because like what? Like
Yeah,
what?
I
Yeah,
mean it's insanity.
like the more you listen and the more you hear, like Harden went to the Clippers and obviously he wanted to know if they were going to, pay him more money to stay. And obviously they said no. And like, we don't really want to have you on the books past 27. And he's like, all right, then trade me. And it kind of just materialized really fast. And like from the Cavs side, I feel like they have just underperformed and had so many injuries. Like Garland has been in and out of the lineup with a toe injury. But like if he gets back to form like he was last year, like he's a really good player. I really love that trade for the Clippers. I could really help them turn it around. But like Harden and Mitchell in the backcourt is just ill to me. Like I don't
Disgusting.
like it. I don't like Donovan Mitchell has never made it out of a second round in his career. Cleveland's doing everything in their power to keep him because he could possibly say, I'm out. Harden is going to need the ball way more than Garland does. The only thing like he can maybe sell positivity with is like he can assist the ball. He can throw lobs to Mobley and Jared Allen, but I just don't really like the defense. I just don't really
Mhm.
like it for them. I could see it blowing up terribly. And maybe they get desperate and call old 23. They have a reunion for his last year. Call LeBron. Just have a big three.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. That's the track they're going. I mean, I kind of comparing it to like the Phoenix Suns a couple years ago, where they just get in this acts of desperation and they're swinging and swinging and swinging, and you're going, yeah, you're getting these big names, but are you getting guys that fit your system? Like Cleveland had this great culture last year that everyone fell in love with. Now what do they have? Like
Yeah, I
okay,
mean,
and you mentioned Mitchell's never got out of the second round, or was it second round or first round? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
second round.
Second round. So let's
Yeah.
go ahead and bring in a guy. Like it makes sense to me bringing a guy that's won a title, but then you're gonna bring in a guy that's goes to the playoffs and craps the bed. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's 36 too. Like,
He's
what's that
old.
contract? Like, I think he basically got a guarantee that Cleveland's going to extend him and give him money.
Yeah,
Like, what does he look like in 2 years at 38? Like,
terrible.
I I honestly feel like knowing Dan Gilbert, he is basically telling Kenny Atkinson, like, I'm paying a lot of money. This was a second apron team. It's the reason why they traded DeAndre Hunter to save over $50 million in the tax. I like the Schroeder edition. I like the Keon Ellis edition. I just see that team just crap in the bed, like you mentioned. Like I just can't really see them going too far. But hey, man, as a Piston fan, as Central Division
Yeah,
guys that watch it from afar, like I'm just waiting for the collapse to happen this playoffs, whether it's against the Celtics, whether it's against the Pistons, or even the Knicks. I could definitely see it just being a disaster, and I'll be on hate watch. Full transparency.
no, same. Here. I'll be honest with you too. If I'm a team, I'm dreaming of facing them in the first round. I'm dreaming of it. You know, like I'm praying hands and knees. Please give me Cleveland in the first round.
Yeah, I just don't like the fit. I'll give you my most surprising trade. It was Anthony Davis today to the Wizards.
Oh,
I'm like, and then you read like the Wizards didn't have to give up any of their future first. They're all future first that they got from the Bradley Beal trade and other trades that they've acquired, like OKC's first, like a Miami first. It's just like, oh my goodness, like they got Trey Young and Anthony Davis to pair up with Alex Sarr. Like Washington next year might be like a legitimate playoff team.
they could, and then they also could be not even sniff it because those guys get hurt and like they don't play. Like, is Trey Young gonna play in Washington?
Probably not
Like
this
that.
season. No.
Yeah. So like that's the other thing is you have these two players. They're great players, but they're drama filled. I don't know if they want to be there. It's a big risk for Washington. It surprised me a lot when I read it. I was like, I gotta drink some more coffee or like I gotta rub my eyes. I don't know if that's real. I was like, okay, They're going to get it. All right. Well, the East is slow, but,
Yeah, I mean,
if
that
I
and
was
Jaren
Wizards fan, it'd
Jackson
be hard
Jr.
for me to be excited. It'd be very hard.
Yeah, I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. too. I was kind of surprised. Danny Ainge actually forking over 3 firsts for him. I was like, Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. It's like, huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Also, so are the Jazz trying to win now?
I know their pick is top protected, and like they win too much. I believe it goes to OKC.
Okay.
So they might actually lose that pick. I mean, I think the emergence of Keontae George really kind of forced their hand, as he's just having a breakout year. Like him and Lauri Markkanen are a really good duo. I like it for them. I'm really glad that the Pistons didn't trade for him because so many Pistons fans because he went to Michigan State. I'm like, no, please, no. That guy just signed a $205 million deal,
Way overpaid.
and he grabs 5 rebounds a game. No, I'm good. I'm good.
And he fouls out of what 60% of his games. Like the guy can't play defense without fouling.
I mean, he's a former defensive player of the year. He's a good defensive player, but like that's just a really tough pill to swallow to sell the fans. Like, hey, like we're gonna have a Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Jaren Jackson Jr. And by the way, we might not be able to retain Jalen Duren because it sounds like he wants a max contract. So it's just like, man, like that's really tough to sell. But I'll be curious to see what the Bulls do in the final day tomorrow. Because I feel like they're not done. There's no way you take on that many guards and say like this is our team for the remainder of the year. There's just no way. But it'll be really interesting to see what they do at the deadline. I don't know if the Pistons are going to make any moves. I think they're just going to waive Dario Saric and just kind of call it a day.
Do they need to? You think?
Well, they're over the allotted roster spots right now. They waived Isaac Jones and then they claimed him. They reclaimed him on waivers, which is like, okay, what the hell are you doing? They still have a little bit of trade exception. They used about $5 million of it for Sarge, but I don't know, man. Maybe you can get a secondary ball handler because outside of Cade, no one can really dribble a basketball up the court. It's really bad, but it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll just be like a really low key under the radar move where I'm just like, oh, cool. I'm like not gonna overreact to it, but I appreciate you coming on, man. It's always fun when we get to collab on podcasts. I think you're the only one that I've actually done 2 podcasts with at Bleav so far. So appreciate you.
Oh, I'm gonna get a banner of that, brother. Let's go right here, baby. Come on now.
Yeah, man. Like I feel like more of us should definitely like get on podcasts and do these because they're a lot of fun.
Oh, they're a blast every time. If only my team didn't suck, we could have like a rivalry going. But it's just like you got. I'll join the bandwagon of Piston fandom when you guys hit playoffs. I'll join the bandwagon.
Hey man, like I don't know if the Pistons play the Bulls anymore this year, but like if they do, I'd have to look at the schedule. I don't know off the top of my head, but be interesting to see if like Jaden Ivey's playing in that game.
Oh, we got February 21st in Chicago.
Oh, hey, revenge tour.
Revenge tour.
That'll be a fun game. I can't wait to see that. Jaden Ivey playing against the Pistons for his first time. But I do want to give you the floor to plug and promote where people can find you. I know you do host Bleav in Bulls. Also, I know you do co-host a football podcast as well, if I do remember correctly.
Yes, we got a lot now, brother. So yeah, obviously check out the Bleav in Bulls podcast, wherever you get your podcast. If you're a big Charger fan, or you just like football, the NFL action, check out the Bull Crew pod, also available on YouTube as well. We just had former Charger safety, actually just re-signed, Tony Jefferson on the show. Check that interview out. Fantastic one. He was a great time with us. Also, if you're a UFC MMA guy, like Lil Blood, the unnamed MMA podcast of myself and Jordan Sherwood, that's on ESPN Chicago. You can get it anywhere, but you also can go to the great ESPN Chicago app. Check it out there. So that's where you can find me. Check out all those shows, man. I think I'm just going to hit every sport, just every single one. Do like badminton next, water polo, just hit every single one. Cover it all.
Do pickleball.
Pickleball, yeah. Jump it, get in early on that. Get the number 1 pickle pod going.
Pickle pod. That'd be actually like a funny name for a pickleball podcast, but I appreciate you, man.
It's starting tomorrow, Anthony.
I'll be on the lookout for it. Maybe Bleav will pick it up. You never know. But I appreciate, as always, making the time. We'll be broadcasting this tonight so people can watch it. But I'll put all your social media links and the podcast down in the link below. But we'll see you guys tomorrow on our post-game podcast as we play the Washington Wizards. Probably going to be the Capital City Go-Go because they just traded like I don't know how many freaking players. That's probably going to be another blowout. I mean, we just beat the Nets by 50. Maybe we can beat the Wizards by 50 tomorrow. But see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Peace. Thanks, Anthony.